Good evening, Mr. Mansharamani. How are you doing today?
Fantastic, celebrating life. Good evening to you also.
Thank you so much. And I love this opening of yours every time I speak to you. Why do you always start with this line, sir? Our audience would love to know about that.
See, words have power. I've just completed my 60, 65 years, it was 66th birthday, day before. And as I'm getting old, so I see a lot of people when they get old, they give up on their life. They think now I'm 60 year, I'm 65 year, now the bonus year, now the old age is catching up, now the diseases will catch up. So when they keep saying those things, they attract those in their life. You know that our health and everything in life is driven by subconscious mind. So I program my mind to say good things and positive things all the day. With the practice saying these things over the time, my days are beautiful and I'm celebrating.
And I can vouch for it. I've known you for a few years now. And
Uh,
every time I meet you, you're always radiating great positive energy. So I can vouch for that.
so normally was my days were like any other entrepreneur, screwed up days. You have bad newses, you have firefighting, and you have different missiles coming to you from different angles. So slowly, when I keep saying these things, life I have attracted awesome people like you in my life and a lot of other people. And at the same time, consciously, I keep removing toxic people from my life. Toxic vendors, toxic relationship, toxic employees, suppliers. If somebody is not replying my messages, not communicating to my standards, I don't work with them. Transparency is lacking, I don't work with them. They don't fulfill their promises, I don't work with them. Those who are not positive, I don't make any kind of relation with them. So with these kind of filters, like simple e-commerce site, you buy something, you have filters. So I have certain filters. With that, I have surrounded by people like you and other who makes my life awesome and their own life awesome also.
And I love the analogy of filters, of how you use it in your practical life as well. So, with that, Sureshji, let me ask you a question. You've been an entrepreneur for over 4 decades now, with so much of experience, so much of success, failures. Our
Tajrba.
audience would love to know a little about, your journey and what that journey has been like for you over the period of time.
Gaurav, if I start with the journey, time will be short. But I'll
Right.
try to conclude it in a few seconds or a minute. That born in a refugee camp where my parents migrated during partition in Maharashtra, Ulhasnagar, which is a Sindhi dominated kind of place. Used to be a village, now is a full fledged city, very modern city. And from there, then we moved to Lucknow, then came to Delhi 71. And mostly education was, the schools which were in tents. So no English speaking there, complex. And father having a very mediocre job, so four grown up children. So there was always lack of money and facilities at home. And we were like, lower middle class to middle class somewhere, or lower middle class, you can call it. So from there, when I joined my first job at a garment exporter, so I realized that this is a sunshine industry. People are becoming rich very, very fast. Even my boss, who was driving those days, cars were imported. They were not manufactured in India except Ambassador of Fiat. So he was driving Mercedes and Toyota, which inspired me a lot that, if they can do it in 3, 4 years, I should try it also. So after doing job for 2 years and I was very hardworking, so I was a star performer in the company. And then I started my own with borrowed money here and there, 20 machines. Long struggle. And finally, I got my first break. So I believe one thing, I'll make a very powerful statement here. When you have nothing, you have no mentor, no education, no money, no resources, no bank, no collateral, and you have only your madness and passion. So when with that kind of madness and passion, you work to make things work out for you. In some form, the God comes to help you, maybe in form of a mentor or an investor or a customer. In my case, a customer showed up who changed my life, gave me so much of money as advance, so many letter of credits, so many orders as only vendor in India like he was. I became a blue-eyed boy. So maybe I was very honest, hardworking, but there are a lot of people honest and hardworking. Somehow seeing my, passion and madness, God came to me in some human form And he changed my life. The first year turnover 8 lakh, then 80 lakh, then 8 crore, then 30 crore, then IPO happened in 1995. And then followed by a presidential award. All the good things happen at the same time. But then also comes with the share of the bad things also, because you go on become arrogant, you become, something that I am a god, I cannot do anything wrong. So then you face the your own mistakes also. I made mistakes and I went bankrupt in 2001. So I had to sell my bungalow. I was very rich at the age of 35, having a six-bedroom big bungalow in Rajori Garden, which is a very expensive area, and having multiple cars and travel around the world in business class, first class. But that everything was gone overnight. So we had to sell to settle the bank and creditors and restart the life. So I went to study in a college, becoming a financial planner, because I was sick of labor and having factories and so much of people around and having the compliances of PF, ESI, Factory Act. So I went into cleaner business, which was wealth management. So I established a wealth management company with a co-founder, did very well a few years. And then I realized a friend I was having breakfast with, old friend from US, we're having breakfast at Leela. He says, यार तेरी advices are very good. जब भी तू देता है मुझे बहुत लगता है कि तजुर्बे से आ रही हैं. So at that time I registered this name Tajurba also, and he said तेरा तजुर्बा बहुत हो गया. So I came back and searched that domain and I booked it. And he said, why don't you become a coach? We pay like 40, $50,000 in America for the coach. And I don't see many coaches here in India like who have your kind of experience in Tajurba, who's done his IPO, scaled up, failed, and again bounced back, and with so much of things. So I that strike me. Yes, probably this is my calling. So I went and did my couple of certification, Gallup certification, life coaching, OKR, and I became a full-fledged coach in last 4 to 5 years. And now I am one of the top in India, helping a lot of people, and
Yes,
quite a
absolutely.
large community I am helping of entrepreneur SMEs, helping them to become a billion-dollar enterprise, taking them to SME IPO. And my goal is that create community of 1 crore MSMEs, also 500 SME IPO, and the next award I want is Padma Award. So that's my life.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. And I can vouch for a few things that you just said because I also come from a manufacturing background and have gone through my ups and downs as well. So I think it's not about the failure, it is about when you are down and out, how do you get up and start moving ahead? And that is what you have seen all your life. And I mean, you're a living example of that. So gives us a lot of motivation for that. So through this whole process and multiple ups and downs, what are the three things that you think you would want the audience to take, which can keep them going through their hard moments or hardships?
Number one is hope. I was having this kind of conversation in a podcast with a psychologist. He said there will be no suicide in the world if there is hope. And that is what kept me going. That when I was going through my darkest days and the toughest time when everything was gone, the entire world was laughing at me. The friend deserted me, the core team deserted me, the family, you let down your family that suddenly from a luxurious life they go into a rented place. And so from there, if you have a hope that, yeah, I made it from zero. And again, I'll make it. So, having that confidence and hope, that sleeping every day with the hope that tomorrow will be a great day. And when you wake up, today is going to be the great day. I have seen the years passes by. You know, 10 5 साल निकल जाते हैं, पता नहीं लगता है. You 5 10 years just go by living with that hope that something will show up tomorrow. So that's what exactly happened with me. So hope is number one. Number two, with the hard work, you can beat the best of the best intelligent people in the world. You can outwork them. Exactly, in that sense. So keep working hard, because when you're working hard, somehow the things work out, that God comes in some form again. So that happens. And the third thing is that keep your energy high always, because we as leaders are the energy management business. So when you have high energy, it's kind of infectious. You attract people in your life, and you are very easy to get along with people. They want to be high energy people. Like I said, celebrating life, people love it. It makes them smile all the time. They put a smile on their face. At least somebody is saying celebrating life. Otherwise, people say cut rahi hai, chal rahi hai, life is
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. I mean, I come across so many people when the first time you speak to them, they always like to complain first, right? And the whole conversation is so draining because you just don't know where to start and where to end the conversation. So I think so right. I mean, having that hope, having that faith that yes, things will turn around, and then getting that energy so that you can pass on that positive energy to your surrounding is so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that with the audience. And I wanted to understand, Sureshji, of why did you get into OKRs? Why OKRs? I mean, you've been into business, you've managed multiple teams, leadership. Today, you are coaching so many businesses, entrepreneurs. So, why the framework of OKR? Why do you think it is important?
Well, when I got into business coach, I was advised by a mentor that don't do this because there are already people well established for last 10, 20 years. So you have no chance and get into public speaking. So I wrote a book on the stage, branded myself as a public speaker. Because by the time I had done three TED talks, so TEDx actually. So I did a couple of workshops around public speaking. People loved it. I sent some people to TEDx. Some people became author under my mentorship. But somehow it was not connecting. I said public speaking is one part of it. My entire experience is business. Now, how can I be different than these people? So I did Gallup because a lot of these business coaches are not Gallup coaches. So I work on people's strength. That gave me insight. So anybody coming into my contacts, I tell them to go through the Gallup strength test so that we can work on their strength. That's a life changing thing. And then secondly, accidentally I was coaching a startup founder. Was very successful. His company has been acquired by a very big company. And he asked me that 4 years ago that do you do OKR? I said, what's OKR? He said, do you know any coach OKR? I said, I don't know any coach OKR. And that gave me a, bulb on moment that this is something I was checking with 10 coaches in my circle that do you do OKR? Do you do? Nobody said we don't know even about what is OKR. So then I Googled it, read the book by John Doerr, Measure What Matters. I said, this can be my niche because nobody's doing it for SMEs. So I did the certification and did whatever research, practice for last many years in the practical front for the small businesses, which nobody has done. I've done it for businesses where they don't even have a team. Now OKR is works only in the team environment. So I make a team of 10 business owners that you are a team. Now let's practice OKR in a group. So that way, I got into OKR and then journey started.
Right. And now that you would have worked with so many entrepreneurs, so many businesses with this whole OKR framework, what are the three or five things that OKR actually helps the business or the entrepreneur that makes you also a big believer of that and you want to keep on going in the same space?
Number one is that it's 90 days. So we work on quarter, and then every week we have to measure it. We have to see the progress, what's going on. Number two, it's ambitious, so moonshot goals. Number three, the alignment of the all the teams, which is rare. I mean, in non-existing in small, medium, or large businesses. There's no alignment. Every department is working in silos. So this brings the alignment. Fourth thing is that the support, the peer pressure, positive peer pressure. That if somebody is achieving goal, somebody not achieving, so non-achiever will feels kind of pressure that every week I have to report. So giving an example, one company I was doing okay, they are into fitness equipment. They started the sales team started following up leads on Sundays, which they were not doing earlier because they had to report on Mondays. And at the same time, when we celebrate OKR every quarter, we give awards. So they got some awards and they put it on the DP. Now their family was pushing them to go and achieve. They were getting the push from the family and spouses also. "भैया, अगली बार भी तुमको ये award लाना है." So these are the few things on OKR where celebration, the magic happens after 90 days. People have been small businesses. So base is small, so they've been able to do entire year's turnover in 90 days. Some of them like on a 3-4 crore level. They are able to increase their profits. The teams are aligned. The energy, the culture change happens. I have certain amazing videos of teams doing the company cheer. They start with the poetries, motivational poetry they have developed. They start OKR meeting with that. So we have Indianized the whole thing. for the SMEs.
Very well,
Yeah.
very well. And it's so good that you can think creatively and on the go make these changes, because I don't think one size fit all, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the way this works for a corporate does not mean that it has to work the same way for an SMB. So congratulating people, celebrating those OKRs, creating entrepreneurs within a team and working with that are such creative ways to do that. And I have taken a few pointers which I will work on with my team from this conversation as well. So, I have been an avid believer of OKRs, and Job, the business that I'm heading right now, we work with OKRs on the product as well. One challenge that I have seen in businesses is how do you keep a discipline around it? Because yes, businesses come in and they feel that yes, this is going to work from them and they dive into the framework as well. But I have seen 1, 2, 3 quarters pass by and they don't have the discipline to go through it all. And then, it just fails for them. So what is your take on that? Have you seen similar, and what is the way to come around that as well?
All the time. See, when I say that 3 to 5% people have entire wealth in the world, that's because of the discipline and consistency, which is lacking in the 95% of the world. So OKR is no different. People give up after 1 or 2 quarters. I just did a OKR meeting in Radisson Dwarka with the team. They started in 2020. They were at 3 crore. Within 90 days, they did 7 crores. And today they are at 20 crore. They are targeting 50 crore next year and going for SME IPO. And they have not left a single week without OKR. So people who are consistent, they are achieving results. People who are not, they go into back to mediocrity, and this is normal all over the world. People in job, people in business, people OKR or not OKR. Even doing, you are a health conscious person, you are a very fit person, so you understand the power of consistency. How many people are consistently going to the gym? They will join the gym, but they are not. So OKR is no different. It's the same thing. We try to help them, we try to motivate them that this is for you work, but sometimes people are like that. They have their own firefighting, their own challenges, so they drop out. They drop out. It happens in the school or college, business, and so OKR is no different. Nothing to worry. People who do it, we help them and push them higher.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one of the reasons I got into job and we are solving the problem for this is by check-ins, by having that discipline through the software and doing those check-in consistently. I mean, we've worked together with some customers, and you can tell that how much discipline is important. Great, great answer. Anything else that you would like to share with our audience that can help them getting onto this direction or of OKRs, and starting that journey? What is the way? Because people say yes, if my business was mature enough, if I had the time, if I had the space, I would like to get into it. But at this point of time, I'm just firefighting to get my business off the ground. So maybe this is not the right time. So, what kind of suggestion do you have for those entrepreneurs or for those kind of businesses?
I say, if you are firefighting to survive, all the more reason to start OKR now because you want to grow your business. And this is a wonderful tool where you are setting your moonshot goal. So, by a famous story which I always repeat when buy in is very important. So, people and their staff to buy in, they want to know what is in it for them. So, I'll always start that how many of you like to grow your salary in next 5 year 10x? Everybody is interested. How many of you would like to become shareholder of this company if they go for IPO? And they will go for IPO. Everybody is interested. So when you become owner of this company, you have your 10x salary. Through ESOPs, you will create wealth when the company grows. That is only possible if the company grows. And company will only grow if you work as a team. That's number one. So they see there is something in it for them. See, the OKR spirit is always that bottom up approach. Earlier, MBO was top-down approach that boss is telling this you have to do, and nobody is interested in doing that. So here they own their goals. That's the magic. So then I give them a story that supposing you want to go to a particular city, Delhi to Bombay. So you go to make my trip, and you see that you search query is Bombay. So it will not show you Chennai or Bangalore. It will show you Bombay. 50 flights for Bombay. You select the flight. You select the seat. Depending on the traffic condition, you leave early. You reach there, and nobody misses the flight. And you reach your destination. So when you set your goal, ambitious goal or whatever goal, this Make My Trip universe shows you the ways how to which flight you to take, and you will get to your destination. The goals are no different than taking a flight because you decided to go to Bombay, you went to Bombay and you reach there on the time. So when you decide a goal and follow through it, take action, book your ticket, go to airport, take a cab, sit there and reach your destination, then pick up your bag and go to place. So same thing if you do in OKR, you take certain action, you will achieve your goal. Now the question comes when the ambitious goal they say, sir, it is not practical. So I give them my story. Was it practical from a refugee camp where I am today? So forget about the practical things. You will achieve your big, hairy, audacious goal, be hacked. And then certain stories like Mama Earth. You know, the company started 2016 with 2,48,750 rupees capital and became a $1 billion company in 6 years. Why can't you become? So there are a couple of stories, the staff and the owner has to buy in. So that way, my role as a coach is very important to make them understand how good is OKR for them. And there are people who are like 2, 3 crore turnover, they have achieved 20 crore in 2 years is not a joke. Even an individual wealth manager who was earning 1 crore rupees now earning 5 crore rupees using OKR for himself as an individual without having any team.
Absolutely. I like to just in the continuation of example that you were giving of Make My Trip, I always like to give that example that treat OKRs as your GPS, right? You
Yeah,
tell Google Maps that you want to go from point A to point B, it will tell you the shortest distance and the best way to get there, right, depending on how much traffic there is in different ways, etc. Similarly, when you set your goal, OKRs only give you that focus of priority setting of what is the shortest way to get to your goals, and that's about it. It's not doing anything rocket science. So absolutely, totally agree with that mindset. And I can also tell you, we've always known about this Pareto principle, right? 20% gets you the 80% of the result.
exactly.
The beauty is, how do you identify what is that 20%? Because, of course, you can do it by experience, but then you have to fall many times before you get that experience and you get to that 20%. So, how do you cut short that experience is through a framework like OKRs. And I must add here, Mr. Mancharamani, that coach plays such an important role through this process. We as entrepreneurs, we sometimes feel that we know it all and who knows our business better than us, but we don't realize that we are so close to the book that we don't sometimes see the whole picture, right? And we need a mentor, we need a coach. And it has worked extremely beautiful for me, throughout my career of last 20 years and different businesses that I've done, that coach or mentor has always come in at the right time and showed me what is that 20%. And then with a framework like OKRs, it works out beautifully because now you can scale that with your team. So I just wanted to kind of add my experience to what you said.
Correct.
Okay, so I think we're almost at the end of it. Anything that you would like to leave with the audience, before we call it a day today?
Whoever is watching this, I would, like you to read as much about OKR because OKR can change your entire life. Even if you can apply OKR in your family situation, your personal finances, your children education, your own health. Because I lost 20 kilo using OKR. A simple goal and objective was perfect health. Key result was you losing 90 kilo, 20 kilo, and having all parameters in the blood test normal. So I achieved it in 90 days, taking certain action, intermittent dieting, diet, and low carb salads and protein diets. All those things. OKR gives you so much of clarity. So read my book, Measure What Matters, John Doerr, and my specific measurable result, which is my initial SMR. So both books are available on Amazon, and read as many articles, case study, so that you are aware what you are getting into. And once you see that magic in 90 days, I mean, it'll be stupid to not to do OKR. Okay, it may happen that one quarter you are not achieving your results. Maybe you are not doing it right without a coach. So find out what's working, what's not working, but don't leave OKR. And once you start to see that success, then it will be wrong to get out of OKR, or not doing the discipline is hurting yourself. And this is a fantastic tool for SMEs, for the big businesses, or anybody, and especially job, doing it correctly on the job, where you can track your action points, you can track your key results, you align your teams, no matter you're a small team or a one person operation. But do OKR. OKR is a magic. I think more and more SMEs and the businesses need to know OKR. It should be mandatory. I think if I was a prime minister of this country, I would say OKR is mandatory for every SME or business to get this certificate. I'm an OKR compliant company.
Yeah. So at that point, I'm sure you know, sir, and a lot of our audience would know as well, that today in the VC world, they've actually made it mandatory. If not mandatory, actually they say that companies who are following this category or following the framework of OKRs are more fundable, because they look at the whole business, they look at their teams, they look at their performances much more objectively than subjectively. They understand what is happening, and that is fine. If you fail, if you're not able to get to your objectives or key results 1 or 2 3 quarters, that's fine. But at least you know where the gap is and how to fill that gap, so you are getting better every other 90-day of your business cycle. So totally agree with you on that. So Mr. Mansharamani, two things. How can our audience get to you? And you create some beautiful content. I am a big, believer of your content, and I see it all the time. So where can the audience go and look at that content of yours?
Well, I'm on YouTube, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. So all those places I'm available, and if anybody wants to have OKR or something, I'm happy to share my number. But just WhatsApp me before you want to communicate with me, because my phone setting doesn't ring the unknown numbers. If you have something really serious to talk about with a proper agenda to know about OKR, implement OKR, or you want my mentoring, then only get in touch with me. Otherwise, there is enough free content available which I distribute on YouTube and Instagram and LinkedIn. Because content is content. It's what matters is the implementation. I help people to implement. So content is, even Harvard is putting free. So there's no worry about the content. If you want to consume the content, there's enough of it my own YouTube channel. Do you want really hand holding? You want to implement and achieve success, IPO, SME, scale up, profitability? Then get in touch with me directly. No issue with that. I'll reply messages every day. I return calls every day.
And I love the clarity that you have in your own way of thinking as well, right? And I'm sure that's an offshoot of how you have been implementing OKRs in your own life, as you gave example. So I'm sure the audience can connect the dots and understand what you were saying with your practical way of clarity in your work and life as well. And I'm sure, you will see a lot of our audience reaching out to you. Thank you so much for your time, and we really enjoyed this talk. Thank you so much.
Bye, and all the best, people who are watching. God bless you all.
And keep on celebrating life, sir. Thank you.